Now to an unexpected twist in Sarah Palin's defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. A federal judge announced yesterday he will be throwing out the former Alaska governor's case. He said the plaintiff, Palin, failed to meet the high standard of proof needed in a libel case. The judge says he will allow the jury to continue deliberating and reach a verdict. And when that time comes, he'll dismiss the case. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos joins us with more. So, Danny, let's start with the basics. The burden of proof. It is on Palin's team to meet that standard in proving the New York Times defamed her. How high is that standard?
It's very hard. Normally, in negligence cases, the burden is a preponderance of the evidence. That really just means 51%. But when it comes to defamation cases, the standard rises to clear and convincing evidence. That's a higher burden for a plaintiff to meet. And then, in addition, she has to show constitutional malice because she is a public figure, the most public of figures in a category of public figures. And that means instead of negligence, she has to prove that the Times was essentially reckless. In fact, really more than reckless, that they pretty much knew that what they were publishing was false, or they basically put their fingers in their ears and said, la, 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 I don't want to hear the truth, before they published. And the judge in this case said the record just doesn't show that. It may show some sloppy work. And he said from the bench that he wasn't happy granting this motion, but that in his opinion, the fact that there was back and forth between editor and writer shows that he didn't believe that he was disregarding the truth.
So here's the question I think a lot of folks have. Why let the jury keep deliberating if the judge plans to dismiss this case?
It has very little to do with this trial. This trial is over. The only thing that happens now is Palin loses, and now she has a chance to lose some more. So she will not win the day. This is all about appeal and creating a more complete record. Yes, it's unusual for it to work out this way, but essentially now on appeal, if the appeals court decides Judge Rakoff just got it wrong, one of the options is they might just reinstate the verdict instead of sending it back down for a brand new trial. But in addition, allowing the jury to come back with a verdict does create a more complete record when this case inevitably goes up on appeal to the Second Circuit. And really, the judge is probably thinking ahead to when it goes to the Supreme Court.
And yeah, so what are Sarah Palin's options here moving forward now?
Appeal, appeal, appeal. She's got to appeal the case, and it's going to go up to the Second Circuit. And the court there will decide whether or not Judge Rakoff made a bad decision here. So this is the day is over at trial. Maybe it'll come back for a trial years from now, months from now. But this case, as it is today, Palin loses. Whether the jury comes back with a verdict in her favor or whether the jury comes back and says Palin loses, she loses today.
And what are the implications of a case like this when it comes to journalism and the future of journalism?
That's really what this is about. Journalists everywhere are watching this case because it's not often that even, especially the New York Times, it gets sued, but it doesn't lose. I don't think it's lost in 50 years, a case like this. And the reality is, what is the standard, generally speaking, for news organizations to be held liable, especially the Times, which no matter what you think of the Times, one way or another, they absolutely go through the most layers of review compared to a lot of websites and blogs and other things out there that go through no review whatsoever. So journalists should be very concerned about this case and be watching it closely because it really does set the standard for reporting on public figures like Sarah Palin.
Danny Cevallos, as always, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.